Zach Lowe must join the Ringer. As soon as I found out that Zach Lowe was fired by ESPN, I immediately thought of him joining the Ringer network, and I wasn't the only one. More on that in a second, but for now, this is the perfect opportunity for Bill Simmons to level up his already growing media empire yet again, and it comes at the loss of ESPN. So this is my memo to Bill Simmons. And let's start with the YouTube comments joining me. Everyone was thinking the same thing. Let's go through the comments. Zach and Bill reunions is always a banger. Need to do it more often. Bill and Zach pump it into my veins. Best podcast combo to talk hoops. Bill, do the right thing and create basketball content nirvana. Low to the Ringer. Hopefully, Zach will join the Ringer now. Good to see Simmons and Lowe back together. Get Zach Lowe on the Ringer, Bill. Yes. All right, so what are we going to talk about today? Salary, reach, how Zach Lowe is a proven asset, his ties to Bill, the Ringer addition, the ESPN subtraction, coverage ratings, asset arbitrage, Ringer upside, Ringer downside, the numbers. Let's get into it. All right, so salary. First off, what is Zach Lowe's salary? And we have a headline from the New York Post. ESPN lays off NBA reporter Zach Lowe over seven-figure salary. Now, this isn't for sure. Obviously, this is speculation. Other people have speculated that it was Zach Lowe's recent activities. Who knows? But the point here is that one thing that this is being attributed to is his salary. And this is also helpful because it gives us an idea of what Zach Lowe might expect to be paid. So here we have seven-figure salary. I'm going to go ahead and put him in at 1.25 million a year. So that's what the Ringer's downside will be. And we'll get to that in a moment. But Zach Lowe has a significant reach. And this is one reason why I'm so surprised that ESPN just cut him. This is losing an asset for nothing. I guess they can't trade him, but it's like you've built up Zach Lowe's brand. And of course, Zach Lowe did it, but ESPN was promoting Zach Lowe for over 9 years, if not even counting the time that he was at Grantland. He now has accumulated 980,000 followers on Twitter, and everybody knows Zach Lowe when it comes to it. When it comes to the NBA, and so if you are paying attention to content, you're going to be reading Zach Lowe or listening to his podcast at some point. Everybody likes Zach Lowe, so this is a proven asset that you can immediately bring onto the Ringer. And Bill Simmons, better than anybody, knows how to monetize Zach Lowe. So as I was getting at, Zach Lowe is a proven asset. He's well respected. He's well liked. He's well rounded. Everybody knows he's a hard worker. He puts in the work. He has excellent analysis. He comes with his own brand. He's a writer. He's a podcaster. He can go on video. He was doing ESPN TV segments. Zach Lowe is multi-talented. He works hard. Everybody likes him. I mean, it's so hard to go wrong with Zach Lowe, which makes it all the more incredible that ESPN just cast him aside. He's also got ties to Bill. So they already have a strong chemistry together. You can tell this every time. That's what the podcast, the comments on the YouTube video with Zach and Bill were getting at. They have a strong chemistry. They talk basketball so well together, and they're friends. Zach Lowe and Bill Simmons are friends. Bill originally hired Zach in 2012 to join Grantland. They work well together. This is already a match that's made. It already works. The match already works. So when Zach joins, it's going to be near seamless. So he's a strong Ringer addition. Zach Lowe has 9+ years of ESPN branding. So ESPN pushing out his content, ESPN having people watch him on TV. Zach Lowe is known. He is the best NBA writer. He is the highest quality of content you're going to get. He writes long form articles. He knows how to host his own podcast. He is connected in NBA circles, so he's going to have good information. He's going to be able to get interviews. He is a rock solid Ringer addition. Also, we are subtracting from the competitors. So by the Ringer adding Zach Lowe, ESPN is losing, even though ESPN caused their own loss by just casting Zach Lowe aside. So ESPN is weakened by yet another bad personnel decision. This is the guy that was actually thinking. before his conclusions. He wasn't just shouting what he came up with in his head. This guy was looking at the tape. He was looking at the film. He was running the numbers. Zach Lowe knows the reasoning behind the conclusion, and that's why one of the reasons why he's so respected. So ESPN is now loses this high quality content, this insightful commentary. The ESPN, they're really down to game rights at this point, and otherwise just people coming up with opinions that are not based on any fact, and there is no analysis behind them. So they don't really have the coverage anymore. They just have the games. And this gets at a point that Bill made not too long ago. And by the way, when Bill Simmons was talking about this, it wasn't in reference to ESPN. It was just this trend that people are now more interested in the coverage of the game than the game. Now, not always, right? People are still interested in the games, but there is this growing trend where people are just watching more and more of the coverage. Like they want to, it's not that they want to watch the game, but they want to watch the coverage so they know about the game, but they're not watching the game in its entirety, or they're not watching the game at all. They're more listening to people talk about the game. So here it's more, we're subscribed to the coverage than we are subscribed to the games. So that's even more of a reason why you would bring in the number one NBA writer. There's also there's an asset arbitrage aspect to this. ESPN really didn't know how to monetize Zach Lowe or exactly what to do with him, apparently, right? Especially with this podcast, it's like they just threw the podcast out there, but they weren't really bringing it under the ESPN umbrella. It was under ESPN, but it didn't seem like it was integrated and it was monetized optimally. Bill Simmons is the best person to know exactly how to maximize and monetize Zach Lowe's content. And in this case, it may be that Zach Lowe is simply worth more to the Ringer than to ESPN. So sometimes one person can't monetize a certain asset the way another person can. And in this circumstance, that may be the case. So ESPN just completely lost Zach Lowe for nothing. And now one of their competitors stands to gain tremendously. So the upside to the Ringer, well, we've already talked about a lot of it, but we add the Zach Lowe branding and reach. He's going to increase the profile of the Ringer. He's a seamless fit from the beginning. He already works well with Bill. Bill already knows how exactly he can slot him in. He knows all of the things that Zach Lowe does well. There are so many different content directions and options that now open up for the Ringer. There are more connections. So Zach Lowe being as connected as he was, he's going to retain those connections. He's also going to be able to bring in other high-profile interviews. It's going to bolster the Ringer talent profile. So anybody that works with Zach Lowe, let's say it's not just Bill Simmons, it's not just Ryan Russillo, it's other parts of the other people in the Ringer network who there are some talented people on the Ringer, but you bring those, you have the other talent work with Zach Lowe, and it's going to boost their profile. Ringer will now become absolutely dominant over NBA coverage. I'm sure they were already one of the leaders. Now it's indisputable. The Ringer is going to be the lead when it comes to NBA coverage. And this also spurns ESPN. So part of this is the side of this where Bill Simmons gets back at his old employer for the way they treated him. Obviously, Bill Simmons has problems with ESPN, or at least did at one point. This is another way to elevate yourself above ESPN. So the downside here is really just going to be the contract. So paying Zach Lowe however much he's commanding. When I read how much he was making, when I read the New York Post article, it sounds to me like he's clocking in at about $1.25 million a year for his ESPN contract. I'm imagining that was, if Bill offered him a 1.25 over 4 years contract, I think that's where he could sign Zach Lowe. Hopefully, obviously, there are other opportunities with the different networks vying for NBA coverage. But hopefully Bill was able to keep him at his salary. And even here, even if, let's say, Zach Lowe doesn't completely return that 1.25 million a year, it wouldn't be a complete loss. So it's not like you lose all of the money. Zach Lowe is still going to generate revenue, but let's just say it's like at a loss of 25%. Okay, well, you still get the added branding, you get the boost to the Ringer profile, and again, you become the dominant NBA coverage, even if strictly on dollars, Zach Lowe doesn't return a 1-to-1 or over that for his salary. But let's actually run some imaginary numbers. So one imaginary number, and the numbers are not out there, but a guess is that Bill Simmons makes between $50,000 to $100,000 an episode for the Bill Simmons podcast. I put Zach Lowe. Let's just say that Zach Lowe has his own podcast on the Ringer Network, and it's just Zach Lowe's podcast, just like it would have been for the Lowe Post. Let's say that Zach Lowe, with his own siloed podcast, would make $15,000 an episode. Okay, well, when we carry that forward, and let's just say that there are 36 weeks in the NBA season, counting playoffs, that's a conservative number. It's also not counting the offseason. So remember, there's a lot of offseason content to be had. But let's just put it at 72 episodes. So that's 2 episodes a week over 36 weeks, not counting any other content contributions like long form articles or tandeming up on other podcasts. Let's just keep it at that. If we say that Zach Lowe's numbers are at $15,000 an episode, he's still going to generate $1.08 million a year. And this is not even getting into the other effects like Zach Lowe boosting the Ringer network, et cetera. So there's a lot of other benefit here. But if we're just looking at the raw numbers, it's going to be very close that Zach Lowe can return that yearly salary if he's at 1.25 million. So to me, the downside is just so small and the upside is so much greater, because part of the upside is that Zach Lowe will have more content freedom. So he'll have the ability to create more content, create different types of content, talk with who he wants to. There won't be as many restrictions. You never know if, maybe Zach Lowe hasn't been talking as freely as he wants to, and now he will, and it will improve the content greatly. So there are so many different ways that the Ringer can win, that bringing Zach Lowe aboard is a clear win for the Ringer. It also opens up possibilities for more premier talent acquisitions. So Bill I think the biggest talent that I'm aware of on the Ringer network is Ryan Russillo, who is a talent. I really like Ryan. But with Zach Lowe, you have someone who is the highest of high profiles when it comes to NBA content. So this could help Bill better understand the money side of what Zach Lowe would bring, and then opens the possibilities for bringing in even more premier talent acquisitions. The subscribers to the Ringer Network are going to win. Rejoice, we've already seen the YouTube comments. People want this. This is what the people want. You give the people what you want, and you're going to win. And then, of course, ESPN is the loser in all of this.